Well, I couldn't believe this. Her book just came out right before Mother's Day, and the wounds have been reopened yet again from a talking puppet that had no clue what she was talking about.
Gold Star families blast Jen Psaki's lies. Her useless ass wasn't even there. Jen Psaki, you remember her. She was the spokesperson for the Biden White House. Now she's got a show on MSNBC because she's a journalist. She's got a brand new book out. The left is eating it up. They love it. They're buying box loads of it. Only problem is it's got a giant, unbelievable lie in it. Alex Thompson of Axios reporting here. She wrote in her new book that Biden didn't check his watch during the ceremony for the Abbey Gate soldiers. Those are the 13, they're not soldiers, by the way, Alex, learn your military jargon. They were from various branches of the military, and they were there. They died in a suicide bomb attack from a terrorist because Joe Biden, with his haphazard, feckless withdrawal from Afghanistan, didn't keep security forces there. So we had to rely on the Taliban to provide security. Yeah, we were relying on the Taliban to protect American service members from terrorists. And of course, according to this book, he didn't really check his watch at the Air Force Base in Dover as the dignified transfer of remains for those military members took place. According to her, it was misinformation, contradicting news photos and Gold Star families. I mean, you can see the photo right there. Funny thing about this lie, it's pretty easy to blow apart. You remember the moment. Here's the video live.
You talked about Sergeant Nicole G., who was one of the 2 female Marines who were killed among the 13. She was the one who posted that Instagram post holding the baby saying, "I love my job," just a few days ago.
Here you go. You just saw it. And he did it multiple times. According to Jen Psaki, it was just crazy right-wing wackos like me who made the claim that he was checking his watch. Of course he was. We all saw it, but this is what Jen Psaki does. It's what she's done for her career for the last 20 years, first as a spokesperson for John Kerry's State Department, then as one of the spokespeople for the Obama White House, and then the Biden White House, and now as an anchor on MSNBC. She lies. She accuses other people of lying, especially conservatives and political opponents. Her job is not to tell the truth and never has been. Her job is to lie on behalf of leftists in this country, the Marxists and the Democratic Party, that she gets paid a lot of money to lie for. And so now she's been called out. But this lie is worse than the other lies that she told, supporting the Biden White House and attacking people like you and I for daring to have a differing opinion than the treasured elitist Jen Psaki. No, this lie actually affects Gold Star families, parents who have given the ultimate sacrifice for this country, the lives of their own children. As as Matt Foldy wrote at Town Hall late last night, Gold Star families blast Jen Psaki's lies. Her useless ass wasn't even there. No, she sure wasn't. She wasn't at Dover. How would she know how many times Joe Biden checked his watch? She doesn't know. Joe Biden told me, and so it must be true. Just about 30 minutes ago, one of those Gold Star fathers actually appeared on Fox News, Mark Schmitz, and I want to share with you what he had to say because it's pretty powerful. Here, take a look.
Well, I couldn't believe this. Her book just came out right before Mother's Day, and the wounds have been reopened yet again from a talking puppet that had no clue what she was talking about. We were 25 yards away and sat there and watched in horror and disgust as he looked at his watch, at least the first 4 caskets that came off that plane. And I couldn't look at him after that. So I don't know if he looked at his watch again after the first 4. But that was his MO. Watch the casket go by, check my watch, over and over and over again.
Let's I want to spend a little time breaking this down for a minute, okay? God, my heart breaks for that poor man. Imagine losing his son, a Marine Lance Corporal, Jared Schmitz, and thank you sir, for your sacrifice, your honor, and we will do whatever we can to uphold the honor of the memory of your son. Because think how despicable you have to be. You lied for a living when you were the spokesperson for this White House, for the Biden White House. In fact, you were there lying on behalf of the military operation in Afghanistan as all of this transpired. You knew exactly what happened. And you lied from beginning to end. You're Jen Psaki. And then you negotiate a deal with NBC News while you're still on the job at the White House. So when you step away, you can just transfer right through that revolving door in the Democrat media complex, as my friend Andrew Breitbart first called it. So you can go right from working in the White House to having a cushy job behind a desk, making 7 figures for NBC News and MSNBC. And you continue to lie daily. Again, now getting paid by a news network to lie for the Democrats and for Joe Biden. And now, of course, you're going to make even more money. You're going to write a book to talk about your expertise as a spokesperson. And you're going to throw everything into that book, right? You're going to, and here's the thing about this book. Nobody's going to read it. No one cares. People buy this book in Washington, D.C. and in Manhattan to put on their coffee table or on their bookshelf or over the summer to have with them as they're sunning themselves in the Hamptons. They don't read it. They just have it there. So people say, oh, are you reading Jen Psaki's new book? It's really powerful, isn't it? I love the Psaki bombs. And knowing all of that and knowing that you're going to get rich off of this crap that you're throwing into this book, because Simon & Schuster can't wait to sign a big check for you so they can get on the good list over in Washington, D.C. You still have to go out of your way to put this lie, of all the lies you put in your book, you put this one in. And let's be clear here. The story of Joe Biden checking his watch over and over again during the dignified transfer of remains of these fallen Marines and other members of the military, due to his ineptness, due to his lack of leadership, due to his horrific, terrible decision-making, where he deferred to Anthony Blinken and the State Department rather than actually listening to the Pentagon about keeping Bagram Air Force Base the most secure place to finish up the withdrawal. Instead, no, we're going to hand that over to the Taliban because the Taliban wants it, and the State Department's going to call the shots here. And everybody in the Pentagon's like, what the hell are we doing? We're going to use Karzai Airport in the middle of the city where there's no security? We've got an air base. Let's use our air base. It's got layers of protection that we can provide. Nope. Taliban doesn't want that, and we're going to do what the Taliban wants, because the State Department in Joe Biden's world overrules the Pentagon for a military operation. And the story of the transfer of remains of these 13 fallen, and the fact that Joe Biden, the commander-in-chief, constantly checked his watch, that did not come from me. It did not come from Breitbart. It did not come from Tucker Carlson. It did not come from Sean Hannity. It came from the parents who were there. It came from Mr. Schmitz. It came from the Gold Star families, the wives, the mothers, the fathers, who in their grief were nauseated by the fact that the president who sent their sons and daughters to their death didn't even have the dignity to stand there and do the one job he had without wondering when it was time to go take a shower with God knows who. So when Jen Psaki decided to put this in her book, she's not dropping a Psaki bomb on some right-wing talking head. She's once again dragging these poor people through the slime. She's not punching back on Tucker Carlson and Fox News. She's punching him. She's punching mothers. She's punching wives. It's the most despicable lie you can imagine. And we shouldn't be surprised. Again, this has been her job. Her entire public career is defending and telling lies. New York Post shares that she is now admitting that this was wrong, that she's got to retract it from her book. And the Gold Star families, as you just saw from Mr. Schmidt, they are in fact threatening a lawsuit. And I hope they do sue. They should sue her and they should sue the publisher of the book. Won't make a huge difference. I'm sure it'll take forever, and a judge ultimately will protect who the judges are supposed to protect in this country. And Jen Psaki, by the way, where's her public apology? Where are the interviews grilling her like Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, just got grilled over her allegation that she met Kim Jong-un? Let's just be clear here. Kristi Noem falsely claiming that she met dictator of North Dakota, Kim Jong-un, is at the same level as Jen Psaki lying about Joe Biden checking his watch. In fact, the Jen Psaki lie is even worse because we all knew going in. And also, Kristi Noem exaggerated her resume on Kim Jong-un to bolster her own persona. It was a selfish act. What Jen Psaki did here, it's not to boost her up. It's not even to boost Joe Biden up. The reason Jen Psaki told this lie in her book was to attack innocent people. It was to punch back, as I said, to the father of these fallen military members. It's way more despicable. So every time Jen Psaki goes on her book tour now and she's interviewed by someone in the media, they're going to go after her in the same way Kristi Noem got attacked, right? I mean, there's going to be the same kind of forceful. And by the way, let's just be clear. Kristi Noem, the tough questions she had were from people like Fox News, Fox Business, Newsmax, Stuart Varney, Greg Gutfeld. She didn't even show up to Greg Gutfeld's show. She was going to get it from friendly media. So I'm really looking forward to when George Stephanopoulos or Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper interview Jen Psaki. They're going to go right after her, aren't they? In fact, this is triggering a memory. On The View last week, Jen Psaki herself was asked about the Kristi Noem book.
As someone who's had to clean up a whole lot of political mess over in your career, have you ever seen anything as bizarre as Kristi Noem? Come on.
Well, Whoopi, I've never worked for somebody who shot their puppy in the face, okay. So I'll start there. I've also never worked for somebody who's lied about a foreign leader they've met with. And Alyssa made this point. This is so true. Meeting with Kim Jong-un, there are a handful of people who have ever done this. It's very knowable. And also, Sarah, you made this point. I'm just echoing all of you here. I just wrote a book. You write your book. Whoopi just wrote a book. The book's coming out tomorrow, same day. Congratulations. It's great. I've been reading it. But you read the book 1,000 times.
So many.
You read it out loud. When you're doing the audiobook, you think, oh, you need a comma there. That weird word is strange. When she said, and I met with Kim Jong-un, did she think to herself, I didn't meet with Kim Jong-un? So to me, I've done lots of cleanup. Alyssa's done lots of cleanup. Not quite this kind of cleanup.
Yeah, it's a knowable fact. It's provable that you didn't meet with Kim Jong-un. You know what else is a provable fact? Whether Joe Biden checked his watch multiple times at Dover. We all know it. But there she was mocking Kristi Noem. I can't wait for everyone on The View to go after Jen Psaki in the same despicable way. How much you want to bet they won't? I think we know the answer to that question. I think we know full well. By the way, what was it she said here? Hang on.
No. Come on.
Well, Whoopi, I've never worked for somebody who shot their puppy in the face.
Well, that's true. But you have worked for somebody who ate dog when he was a kid. That would be Barack Obama. You've also worked for somebody who didn't control his dog from biting 10, 20, what are we up to now? 30 innocent Secret Service agents at the White House? because Biden can't control his own dog because he got a dog as a photo op for good Instagram attention, although he has no business actually raising or disciplining the dog in the White House. And by the way, while we're at it, you didn't work for someone who shot their puppy, but you do work for somebody who showered with his daughter. Yeah, that's right. I went.